Invincible Mumu by Hanjin. Chapter 162 Invincible Enemy Part 1.
The Red Mysterious Soul Shifting Technique. It was a technique the Red Mysterious sect, which were in the western region, possessed. It was mostly gathered on the Yuan side of the land. And this technique had been secretly passed down in order to achieve eternal life. However, no matter how thoroughly one shut down the sect, rumors followed. The secret that there was one who had achieved eternal life spread to the ears of the evil forces, and of course the head of theirs too. The Overlord Blood Martial God longed for eternal life and perfect harmony with the body, so he brought in many warriors to get the technique and improve it. But why? For the first time, Nung Manha, who had put his palm on the top of Mumu's head, was shocked. Even though he had the improved and developed technique, which now had very few flaws, it still wasn't working. The biggest drawback to this technique was that if one wasn't of the same blood, the soul would be rejected. But even so, if he used the skill, he could temporarily control the body. It was just that the body couldn't stand it, but this was strange. It doesn't work? No matter how he looked, Mumu didn't seem to have his soul pushed out. If it had been pushed out or eroded, since there was a stage where two souls could be put in one body, the two eyes would show it. But Mumu seemed fine. What did you do? What? Mumu frowned at the question. Did he not know what this was? Or was there something unexpected with the technique that happened? You have an anomaly? Interesting. Are you saying that even though you are a vessel to me, you can handle this? You keep saying things I don't understand. At those words, Nung Manha said, "It seems difficult now, but sooner or later..." Crack. It was before he could finish talking. Mumu's slap had pushed out the head of Nung Manha, and the body stumbled. Mumu snorted at this. You keep saying what you want to say, and I don't have anything to say or ask you either. Crack. At that time, the veins and flesh near the neck of the fallen head began to wriggle like they were going to recover quickly, but it didn't manage to happen. Panin. Just like that, the whole body had exploded, and seeing this, Mumu shrugged his shoulders and looked at Yang Mo, who had his lower body hurt. If the head is blown up, it doesn't recover. Yang Mo's body, which started to erode, began to fall. It was quite distasteful that things didn't go their way. You are quite disrespectful for a vessel. Vessel. Mumu approached Yang Mo and pulled him from the ground like a radish. Kakuko. As soon as he pulled out Yang Mo, he swung his legs to kick Mumu. He had recovered his spine and broken parts already. Mumu raised his other hand to block it. Pack. Mumu's hand, which had bounced it off, grabbed the ankle of Yang Mo. He grabbed it. Yang Mo's eyes narrowed. He knew Yang Mo was better than other vessels and could be better assimilated. So, even though it wasn't perfect, his body would work well. However, Mumu seemed to have adapted to the force already. This is a body more amazing than others. Crack. Mumu broke the ankle of Yang Mo. Mumu, who had broken the ankles enough to make it poke out of the flesh, didn't stop and tore it out. Normal people would have been unable to bear the pain. But Yang Mo wasn't like that. Crack. The femoris and other muscles around the left thigh of Yang Mo began to swell up, and it all happened in an instant. Yang Mo's kick rushed straight for Mumu. Pong. The power and the speed at which it happened was shocking, but Mumu was hit. He put the elbow down while his muscles contracted at the leg which came to hit him. Pack. As a result, the muscles of Yang Mo took on a horrible shape. Mumu didn't stop there as he grabbed Yang Mo's swollen leg like he wanted to tear it off. That moment, Yang Mo's eyes flashed intensely. Along with it, a sharp feeling spread. Then Mumu, who was about to pull his leg, coughed up blood for the first time. Yuck, and he got down on his knees. Thud. Mumu's expression contorted at the pain which seemed to tear his heart down. He couldn't figure out what this was. Yang Mo didn't even touch him, but it became difficult to breathe. What is it? Kong Mui, who was surprised at this, asked. He thought Mumu could take this man down, but then he was acting differently. Crack. In the meantime, Yang Mo was regenerating rapidly. As the bones grew and the muscles interlocked, the terrifying appearance took place. But there was something which stood out.
Sure.
As the torn leg healed, the wrinkles on Yang Mo increased, and even the hair turned white. As if aging was happening, he looked 10 years older. What is this? It was at the moment he was shocked the leg was fully healed. Yang Mo approached Mumu, who was clutching his heart. What did you do? Mumu tried to stand up despite the pain. Crack. But his heart throbbed like someone was clutching it. Kong Mui couldn't understand it. It didn't look like Yang Mo did something, and Mumu was in pain, to which Yang Mo raised his eyebrow and said, "Nothing else seemed to work, so I decided to use the heart sword." Kong Mui's eyes widened. Did he just hear this? Heart sword. Heart sword. It was exactly what it meant, a sword to the heart. This only happened when one had fully attained their enlightenment with the weapon they use. Occasionally, there were rumors about swordsmen who could cross the last wall. But the thing with the heart sword was it was entirely different. A long time ago, Baekmuja, a man from the Zhou dynasty, was said to be the one who trained in the sword and defined the mastery of the sword to be of 3 levels. The first was to unify with the sword, which was said to be like moving one. The second was the state where even a blade of grass can be used as a sword, and then the third and final state was the level of handling the sword at one's will. Even if one didn't have a sword, they always have a heart sword so they can cut anything with their thoughts. No. Kong Mui trembled in fear. All the sword masters knew that the third one was a rumor, a legend which couldn't be attained, but it was actually possible? Quack. Seeing Mumu cough up blood, Kong Mui gulped. It was the first time he saw this guy cough blood.
Tack.
At that time, Yang Mo went to Mumu and placed his 10 fingers on the acupoints in Mumu's head and smiled. If you endured it, then I will do the technique now. With that, he began to chant something. Damn it. Kong Mui, unable to watch this, called up the 3 types of qi from his body: lightning, fire, and ice. He knew that he could not do anything here, but if Mumu ended up wounded, then he would die. Stop.
Pat.
Although injured, Kong Mui pulled out all the qi he could and tried to unleash it, but do not do foolish things. Yang Mo turned his head and just glared at him.
Quack.
Yuck. He fell to the ground right there with pain in his heart. Something sharp felt like it pierced his heart, but this was a pain different from one from external wounds. Yuck, yuck. I cannot even breathe. It felt like his breathing stopping wouldn't be weird, so he could understand how much pain Mumu was in. Wait your turn. After a snort, Yang Mo turned his head and began to chant something. Nuamanu.
Womb.
The face of Yang Mo turned red, and as expected, after subduing him with the heart sword, it clearly felt like the soul could be eroded and he could take over the body of Mumu. Your body is mine. In that short moment, he was convinced of his win, and Mumu was suffering and had goosebumps rise on his body. It was clear that something unknown was happening within his body. Numanuk.
Sure.
As the chant continued, his head felt pierced, as if it had opened up. This soul-shifting technique was known to open up the area of the soul and place the other one into the same space. But the blood point opened and the head brought in something unexpected. When the point opened up, Mumu suddenly thought. Infant-level growth, new dawn. It was the heavenly martial true technique, which he would mumble for training each day. And normally it was done to attain enlightenment and open up the internal energy a person can hold. This time the blood points were forced open.
Go.
In that moment, a bright light of 5 colors shone from the body of Mumu as his eyes glowed. Yang Mo couldn't hide his shock at this bizarre thing. What is this? It was then, Kikikiki. The golden band on Mumu's left wrist turned by itself and moved to open.
Clack.
And the band which was suppressing the power of Mumu was released.
Creepy.
An unimaginable force of intimidation came out, making Yang Mo pull back his hand from Mumu and step back.
Chapter 163. Invincible Enemy. Part 2. Clack. The bands on the hands of Mumu were known to suppress the power he held as much as possible. Goo. What is this? Flinch. At that moment, Yang Mo felt a tremendous sense of intimidation beyond imagination, and he took his hand off of Mumu and tried to back off. And Mumu grabbed his head. Clench. Embarrassed, young Muo tried to shake off this with the energy layered onto his hand, but he couldn't shake off Mumu's body, let alone scratch him. It was his power which was different from before. His strength is. It was quite palpable. This sudden change was an unexpected surprise even for young Muo. And he clearly realized. If I don't defeat him, I cannot even control him. In the meantime, the goal was to take back the vessel without taking much damage, and young Muo, who guessed it would be impossible, changed his method. He couldn't bring out his full power in this body, but there was no problem handling a heart sword. Heart sword. The sword was literally something made of a person's will. Therefore, regardless of what body he took over, it consumed a lot of mental power to be used. Young Muo stretched his hand towards Mumu, and with a strong intention and will, he drew the image of cutting up Mumu's heart, and all the internal organs too. A strong will which will happen. Heart sword killing. To kill the opponent. Slash. The moment his strong will was used, young Muo's thoughts spread out in all directions. The floor on the cave cracked, and the ceiling now had scars of swords too. Die. Young Muo glared at Mumu. But. What does this mean? Mumu just stood there. His insides should have been torn apart by the sword, and the pain should have been too much to bear. However, he raised an eyebrow and made an expression asking what all this was, and young Muo was extremely confused. How is the heart sword like? He should have used the heart sword in its most supreme state. The heart sword was supposed to break down everything it touched. So how could this man not have an expression of extreme agony at the moment? To which, Mumu said nothing. Isn't what you are talking about the sword of will or something? What? There doesn't seem to be any reason to think that a sword which doesn't exist exists. The moment young Muo heard that, he thought this was absurd. The heart sword, the sword of will, was nothing but an existence, a vision of will. But the guy strongly believed that this sword didn't exist and denied its presence from just that. This wasn't just denial. Did you mean that he has a stronger will to deny my thoughts? He was now very embarrassed. This guy in front of him was Mumu, a guy with no martial arts skill within and a perfect body. However, with his natural talent, Mumu had his own way to offset the sword, which he had struggled to learn over a long period of time. The more powerful one's will, the clearer the sword. However, it being offset right now meant that Mumu was as close to his level of strength. A vessel on which my heart sword doesn't work. Young Muo's lips twitched in delight. This was now completely different. He tried to recover this vessel by going past the body's limit, but a new anomaly happened right here. It seemed like the growth of Mumu was in a different direction. This is the best. Young Muo admitted to it. That body, like this, was the kind of body he wanted. This made him want Mumu more. Young Muo laughed and said, I will back off today, and my alter ego in the near future you will be on all four. It was then. Who said you can leave? Kwang. In an instant, Mumu closed the distance and was right in front of young Muo. He reached right ahead of his nose, but young Muo, who decided to leave, continued to avoid. Mumu clenched his fist and pulled it in, and at that moment young Muo's eyes shook. This is? The moment Mumu pulled his fist, he could see the space distorting. As soon as young Muo saw it, he judged this to be something he had to avoid at all costs. Therefore, young Muo chose to destroy his own body rather than being hit by Mumu's fist. Bulge. The veins on the face of young Muo turned black. It was him destroying the body. In an instant, young Muo's skin cracked and his body was about to explode. At that moment, Mumu's fist came across the teeth. Bang! 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 Mumu's fist hit up, and the body of young Muo, which should have exploded, destroyed the entire ceiling of the underground area. When the aftermath was over, half the ceiling of the cavity was blown through and bright sunlight came in. Kong Mui was at a loss of words at this sight. The location they were in was far below the ground. But before he knew it, he could see the blue sky, and the sun too. He literally blew through all of that. Are you really going to become a godlike being? It was difficult to express this even to the extent that human limits weren't a topic anymore. He had the power to bring in disaster. He really seemed invincible. Theft is never good, try looking at bit.ly/3ibfjkv. Gulp. Mumu said to him while he was unable to say a word. Is your body fine? At that question, Kong Mui barely came to his senses and nodded his head. I am fine. But Muo. Young Muo's body was now just blood. He refused to be controlled by it, and now he lost his life. It was a pitiful sight to see. Clench. Strangely, he felt anger. It wasn't because he was close to Yang Muo, but it was the situation which made him angry. The reality was that the reason they were born was to be of use to someone. And seeing Yang Muo dead, it all became too real. Looking at the traces of Yang Muo, who had turned into a puddle of blood, Kong Mui expressed his anger. We need to find him before he does anything. With the power of Mumu, he might have a chance against it. In front of his eyes, he saw the heart sword which didn't work on Mumu. If not, he will target those with the plaques one way or another. Talking about that bastard's vessel. Yes. Mumu nodded as if he agreed. The only problem was that they didn't know where he was. Kong Mui believed that of anyone in the clan, one of the clan leaders would know, but the one person who might have had that information had died. Perhaps to prevent this, the man had appeared from his own clan member's body and killed the clan leader. But he took Yang Muo and Ho Gairang lightly. Before dying, the clan leader was mumbling something with a smile on his lips. It was about a certain location. Mount Bo. Mount Bo. He was clearly saying it. Yang Muo noticed this before he died and tried to convey it to Kong Mui. I don't know if this is correct, but Ho Gairang and Yang Muo said something before they died. Location? Yes. I think that's where the Great Guardian is. Where is it? If I understood it right, it should be called Mount Bo. Mount Bo was a mountain of canyons in the west of Yunnan, the southernmost tip of Gansu province, at a huge hidden cavity. Weak. There was something shining in the dark, torches hanging from the wall. In this common center, there was a place where 200 people were seated with eyes closed. And though the people were of all ages, their facial expressions were similar. It felt like they were all seeing the same thing. For a while, the entire cavity was silent. And in an instant it broke down. Pat. 100 people opened their eyes and titled their heads back. Some of them clutched their heads like they hurt, and some furrowed it. Then they all mumbled the same thing. I am hit. As more than 200 people said the same thing, the cavity resounded, and those who had the same expressions now had bizarre ones. The lips turned to a smile and eyes too. A huge seat like one that belonged to a throne room rose, and a long-faced boy who looked around 18 years old sat there. Drip. The moment drops of blood flowed from the boy's forehead. The eyes of the 200 people or so turned serious. It could be said that it was the central figure with 40% of the soul. And then someone next to the 18-year-old boy said, "What happened?" The question was asked by a young man in his early 20s, but the young man was Mule. The boy on the throne wiped the blood off with his hand. "Why are you bleeding?" The one in the form of Mule asked, and the reason for it was simple. Obviously, at the last moment, everyone saw the same thing, everyone felt something. It could be said the soul sharing caused the pain. However, the boy in the seat took the direct hit. It seems that his one punch dealt a direct hit to the soul. Direct hit to the soul? Is that possible? It is not a matter of possibility. To have completely surpassed the intended vessel, to have another strong one to replace it, the best physical body. I agree with it. Mule nodded in agreement. They saw the same things, shared the soul, emotions, and memories, so they knew each other's pain and thoughts without having to talk. I need to join the vessel. Since the power of the vessel is over what we have, there is no way to subdue it unless we have the best body. I agree. The collection of the vessels is done, and me, the best, is here. I get it. It seems like a moderate amount of strength would be needed. At those words, the middle-aged man who was under the podium came up. If you take someone with a kid called Mu, then it has to be done with his mind being collapsed. The woman next to him heard it. Take down those related to Mu, the Royal Inspector Eugene Sung. The old man next to him continued. In the academy there is Eugene Hyuk, and there is the adoptive father who took after Mu. At that, Neil smiled. Aside from that, we can continue to put pressure on Mu. It seems like gnawing away at his mind will be easy. Even I, who is the best, agrees to this. We agree. The 200 people said the same thing. It was terrifying to see them saying the same thing with the same expression. The one with best body stood up and said, "Everyone agrees, so it will be as I planned." Growling. Kwang. That was before the words were finished. The place shook, and someone landed on the floor which was pierced in. Bang! Nearly 10 cracks were below the person who landed with both feet upright. Everyone turned there in an instant, and as the dust disappeared, the eyes of about 200 people changed. The one who appeared. It was Mumu. Crack. Mumu lightly cleared his throat and gestured toward the one in the throne and said, "Who said you could do what you wanted?" Chapter 164. Invincible Enemy. Part 3. An hour back. If I understood it right, it should be called Mount Bo. Mount Bo. It was a mountain full of canyons to the west of Yunnan province. It was something that the leader of Heavenly Killing Valley was mouthing before he died, so it was the place where someone higher than them was. Looking at the stuff he used and the bodies he needed, he might try to come to use them again. So let's leave. Mumu said to Kong Mui. Sure. But I have a lot to ask. But before that, there is a place we have to stop by. Is there a place to stop by first? No, even if we hurry we don't have enough time. I think it would be better to deal with these ones who are like vessels than looking for that great guardian. What? Kong Mui couldn't hide his doubts about the words Mumu said, and the reason why they were looking for this great guardian was to find clues. But he wanted to deal with the enemy right away? Something felt odd. You mean to figure out where he is and deal with him? I saw it earlier. Saw it? No. More like felt it? What are you even talking about? When he tried to take my body. With Mumu's body, there was some form of energy point in the body that was opened up when his head was touched. And it was force opening a door which could take over the soul. But there's something unexpected happened. As if the energy point was opened up, it unintentionally touched a point which was known to be the final stages in the heavenly points, and it rather served as a chance to evolve the soul of Mumu. But in the process, his soul was being pushed out, and at that moment, Mumu came in contact with the other soul which tried to come in. The Supreme One standing at the throne looked at Mumu with sharp eyes. This was an unexpected situation. He didn't know how the location was leaked, but how could Mumu even get here? There were people who say that the people who had attained the highest enlightenment and obtained sainthood were the ones who could jump great distances with a single step, but even that would take 4 to 5 days. If that was the case, there was one chance. If he wasn't in the current body but in the body of Il, then moving would be much faster. However, at this speed, this body had exceeded the limit. The best. A body he wanted. The one he had been longing for so long, Illinois, and the others all were smiling, satisfied. You took on the trouble of making me come to you. Yes, this kind of thing makes life easy. He could see Mumu as being competent, but coming here was a mistake. It would be a miscalculation, however, if the body he wanted to use, Mumu's, has surpassed the limit. There was no way Mumu had not surpassed everything the Supreme Body had. The internal energy, the physical structure, everything was higher. Shoo! Let's secure the vessel. Yes. Once the Supreme said so, the 200 or so men began to have a body change. Crack! At the same time, the muscles of the 200 people swelled up to a bizarre extent, but the change didn't stop there. Swish! All of them had skin flushed red or gray or black and steam coming out the body, and seeing this, Mumu's eyes shone while the Supreme smiled. If one condenses the muscles and speeds up the blood circulation, an extreme power can be shown. Thanks to you I learned something good. Of course, unlike Mumu they could not hold it for long. A rapid circulation of blood was possible with strong hearts and veins. And Mumu's mother Hay family bloodline possessed this. But Illinois is not any weaker. Even though there was no merging of the 200 into one, the bodies here surpassed the warriors around. It won't be hard to join in. Join. I am so tired of it. So stubborn. Then, let's see how far your skills get you. Bang. Bang. It was before the words were finished. The 200 of them who had their muscles changed rushed at Mumu, and their force made it seem like there were 200 Mumus running. Hoo! At that time, Mumu's rib muscles swelled up. Mumu took a deep breath for a long time and then began to blow from the mouth at the 200 or so people rushing at him. Phew! Pong! The wind which came from Mumu was like a gust of wind. A gust of white steam at the 200 people rushing in at him. Huh! The 200 of them raised their energy and ignored the wind touching them. But cha-cha-cha-cha. Ka-ka-ka-ka. The coldness of the wind was unexpected. The bodies which were now hot couldn't handle the sudden coldness and froze up. The number was cut down to half, and the frozen bodies shattered down in an instant. Clack! Crack! The ones watching frowned at the same time. It was just a mouthful of wind, yet things changed to this extent. Il shouted. Spread out. Pop a pack. At once they all moved away from being clumped together, and the vessels which judged it to be dangerous on being united, began to surround Mumu. In response, Mumu bent his knees. Crack! The muscles around his legs began to swell up, and Mumu pointed his right hand down and kicked with a foot. Quack! As the ground caved in and was pushed back. The scale was so great that the vessels running behind were swept back and those ahead couldn't catch up, to which Mumu moved. Looking at this, Illinois was shocked. Swish! Quack! Pat! Quack-quack-qua! Quack! Quack! Like water flowing away, every vessel around got pushed back as Mumu moved. With a single punch or kick their heads were shattered. And those who were strong enough tried to put their fists up to defend themselves, but they were helpless now. This was a complete massacre. Shoo! Even though they were all quite powerful, it felt like Mumu was crossing over space. They couldn't cope with his speed, and there was a definitely gap between the skills of theirs and those of Mumu. Il spoke up. It has gone beyond the level that ordinary vessels can keep up with. I need to step in. If this continued, he would lose the people he could use. And then Il next to Supreme jumped at Mumu. You don't know your level, so I will treat you right. Whoom! As Il stretched out his hand, two huge orbs of red light appeared. It was the Overlord Blood Demon Ball. The two giant orbs of unique red energy, created by Il, rushed for Mumu. Pop-a-pang! The two spheres of huge energy which moved through air. They struck Mumu in an instant. Quack-quack-wang! It had a power strong to annihilate everything it touched. But shoo! Mumu glanced at the balls rushing in and then snapped his fingers. And pung! As if something had blocked the orbs, they exploded right then and there, and seeing this, Illinois was shocked. The small round was able to block the orb loaded with the best energy with a flick of finger. This didn't seem much? It was surprising. Yes, it wasn't so shocking considering 17 years back even he couldn't even go against the 4 great warriors. Then, this shouldn't be that much. So he tried to always adjust the power to the vessel he was in to not do much damage to the vessel, but at this level, he would take more damage. I cannot think about the body. It was then. I will do it. Hearing the sound, Illinois knew where this was coming from. The Supreme moved, and since they shared the same soul, they knew what they were thinking. Pat. When Supreme jumped at Mumu, who was taking down his vessels, he raised both hands, holding swords of light. Whoa! Not true swords but intangible swords colored red in his hands. Even Mumu stopped taking down the others and turned to him. And he told Mumu, "I will show you what overwhelming power means." With those words, Supreme extended the sword to Mumu. Swish! Along with him, 12 intangible swords around the ceiling rushed for Mumu. Even the East River Sword Star couldn't do it. And this felt like the completed one. Quack-quack-quack-wang. The common floor was devastated by the swords and the entire place shook as cracks began to form. The power was so devastating that even of the remaining 200, none of them could handle it. As expected of Supreme. The most perfect body obtained through the many women, it was the body which was known as heavenly, or 1 in a million. It was the kind of force to destroy an entire sect. Swish! It was difficult to understand how much the floor had been forced down. It was no exaggeration to say that the human limits had been surpassed. Supreme spoke, satisfied. "I was planning to use you as a vessel, but now just the body will do." It was before he could end it. Bang! Someone jumped out of the hole made in the ground, and it was Mumu. Supreme frowned. His blow was strong enough to take down a huge mountain. But Mumu, without any regenerative powers, was perfectly fine. "You bastard. Are you done?" "What? You said you would show me overwhelming power." At those words, the eyes of Supreme turned serious. He never could understand how the 12 intangible swords could be handled. To withstand it all. If that was the case, then even the best would not take Mumu down. "You are quite good. I never thought that my alter ego would be like this." "Fine. I will show you true power." Supreme decided to go all out. He was using half of his power before, now it would be all of it. Wuong! As he opened up, the energy in the air turned heavy. Even all the vessels who were around felt intimidated by it. Il also had his mouth open in disbelief. If this was the power of Supreme, then he was sure that everyone who took him down in the past would crumble now. Il looked at Mumu and smiled. "You ended up doing the wrong thing, you wouldn't have had to feel this fear if you just merged." And Mumu said, "Is this all?" "What?" At Mumu's words, Illinois and even Supreme seemed shocked. How do such words come out even after the power he showed? Cocky bastard. Even his anger was about to soar and then... Swish! Rumble! At that moment, something radiated from the body of Mumu, an intimidation. Even though this place was huge, it was shaking like it would collapse. This is... creepy. The intimidation was too strong intimidation to even process it. It sent chills down the spine like the body was being sucked into the abyss. Even Supreme seemed a bit shocked at the ridiculous feeling of his senses taking over. And Mumu opened his mouth, clenching his fist. "I was planning on dragging it out to make you feel fear as much as I could, but ending it fast would be better." Chapter 165. Invincible Enemy. Part 4. Supreme, no, the Overlord Blood Martial God was no ordinary person. He was the youngest child born to a wealthy and famous family. Up to that point it was a peaceful and even fun time of his life. But at the age of 6, his life was changed by a warrior by the name of John Jiam, who was part of the 7 evils of the forces of evil, who happened to be his teacher. I, John Jiam, have found the greatest martial arts shown by the heavens. And as such, with his notorious name, he had various martial arts which he passed down to this 6-year-old child for over 10 years. However, once the child turned 16, the man lost his life. The reason was simple. There is nothing more to learn. Although he had a reputation for being vicious, he didn't believe that the disciple he cared for would one day choose to betray him by erasing his own existence. And so, the Overlord Blood Martial God killed his teacher who was known to be undefeatable. To him the role of his teacher was simple supply and demand. And in that way he absorbed all the martial arts of the seven evils, who were said to be the strongest of the forces of evil, and reached the level of a great warrior at the age of 28. The first thing he did was to kill his own brothers and family members and collect all their assets. Why? The weak need to be weeded out and the strong should take everything. At the age of 28, he only had evil within him. He established his overwhelming hegemony with the wealth he snatched from his own family and revealed his emotions to the world. After making his own castle grounds, the man had fought more than 600 times against other strong warriors, but he hadn't even lost once until the four great warriors came. He was truly worthy of being referred to as martial god. And now 17 years later, he was convinced that he was the one who was the absolute being when it came to martial arts and not the four great warriors. And he was certain of it until just a moment ago. Creepy. The chilling sensation went down his spine. Just like animals, humans also possessed instincts. That instinct was born through numerous sensations, and is often referred to as the sixth sense, which understands the five senses. The sensation he was feeling now wasn't nice, it was fear. No. How? Does this mean that the absolute being was feeling fear? He wanted to deny this unpleasant feeling, but... rumble. His joints were shaking like they wouldn't move. It felt like his entire body was afraid of the one called Mumu. No. Here, thinking so, he decided to change. Until now, he thought of Mumu as a vessel to own, but not anymore. For the first time he considered his own vessel as nothing more than his worst enemy. All the vessels who shared the soul with him agreed with it. If they didn't kill that being, everything they wanted would become impossible. Another change occurred in the bodies of the vessels who decided to end Mumu at all costs. Crack. Clench. The veins in their bodies turned black and their bodies looked like demons. Ghastly blood, demonic arts. This was it. The technique, created to change the flow of blood, reversed the energy movement and burned away the innate energy. It made the user several times stronger for a duration of 30 minutes. Blood flowed out from the nose and eyes. Qua. Every one of them felt pain. It was because after forcibly developing and condensing the muscles, the blood circulation was speeded up. Their bodies were already having a hard time coping with the changes. If it went on too long, they wouldn't last. Even so, we need to kill that guy. Bang! The vessels with maximum hostility moved at the same time, in order to kill their greatest enemy who stood in their way. Pat pat. The vessels pushed their bodies to their limits and moved for Mumu at the same time. It was only for a moment, but now each one of them was performing with amazing movements. Wuong. In each of their hands were intangible swords containing the uniqueness of their supreme being. The five disregarded everything and just ran to cut down Mumu. That was the moment. Phew. Quang. Starting from the ground, which was trembling, rose a huge gust of wind. Along with that, the vessels holding the sword just got pushed back like a candle's flame being blown out. No way. Il looked at this with a shocked face. No, the ceiling which should have been there didn't exist anymore. Above the hole, he could see the blue sky with clouds. Il, who was staring at the sight, was confused and gulped as he looked at Mumu. Shoo! There, he could see Mumu slowly lowering his leg he had lifted. It wasn't anything special. Just a simple movement. The hole in the ceiling went on for miles, and for a moment everyone was lost. Will you not come? Then. Shoo! Mumu rolled up his middle finger to his thumb. Crack! Then Mumu's forearm muscles and the fine muscles on the back of his hand began to rise and appear more clearly. He rolled his finger and yet the air seemed to shake around it. Goo goo. In that state, Mumu just snapped the finger and the vessels which were scattered around. Snap. Paong. The moment Mumu snapped his fingers, a wave could be clearly seen, and the sound of air being pierced could be heard. Crack. Just like that, the body of one vessel disappeared due to the force ahead, and it didn't end there. Mumu snapped his fingers constantly. And quack 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 wang. Bang. Bang. Quack 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 wang. All the areas were being targeted, and along with it, 1, 2 around 14 were cut down. The number of people remaining now was only 8. And it could be said that this happened in the blink of an eye. It was no exaggeration to say that each warrior he took down was on the level of a great warrior, and they were being killed like ants. PRRR. Il was so overwhelmed by the power of those attacks that his body was trembling. Despite sharing the soul, the difference could be felt. The fear he was feeling was far greater than what Supreme was experiencing. We cannot win. The end was already in his mind. Killing that monster was impossible even with Supreme using his best martial arts. An invincible enemy was what Mumu was. And he turned to Supreme with shaking eyes. One might not have noticed it, but he was breaking into a cold sweat. Here the thoughts of Il flowed to Supreme. That is, wouldn't you like to know about your mother? Il shouted at Mumu while he was killing the others. And since they shared a soul, they wanted Mumu to stop. This was their last resort. Flinch. At that, Mumu stopped snapping his fingers, and seeing this, Illinois was sure that this guess was the correct decision. As I thought. This monster held one weakness. It was that he had affection for things. The Overlord Blood Martial God believed that affection was meaningless when it came to fighting someone, so he managed to kill every family member of his with his own hands. As for those who were considered to be failed kids, he would abandon them by killing them. Fault. To him, Mumu's longing and affection for his mother was a weakness which would make him weak. Pong. The wind spread, and Mumu appeared right in front of Mule. It was only a moment. Search Poreed.com for the original. You can tell me more about my mother? He spoke to Mumu, trying to be calm. I can tell you. With those words, Mule focused his mind and conveyed his will to the remaining vessel. I will draw his attention. Aim for him when his guard is down. However, you should step away at that time, Supreme. What? He is not something you can deal with now. Although his pride didn't allow it, he wasn't going to deny the truth he faced and decided to accept what he was told. There was no other way to deal with this monster. Then, being called Supreme and the main body, if he loses his life, then his efforts all this while would be useless. If only you are alive, we can promise the future. For those who can be made again, we have enough time. You can always make new bodies for yourself. Right. Because they could switch bodies, it meant he held eternal life. So the humiliation didn't feel bad. Get the power to kill him or wait for the human to die. And he decided. I get it. He agreed to move back when Mumu showed an opening. Your mother is also one of the few women I have cared for. That is why I remember her better than others. You remember my mother? Yes. But everything in the world has an equal price to pay. Equal price? You realize what I am saying. At that Mumu sighed and said, Are you asking me to help you in return for telling me about my mother? This brat. His anger seemed to be rising at this. No one had ever responded this arrogantly to him. And to think a measly vessel born for his purpose was doing that. Yet, Mule endured. If he got angry here, things would go wrong. Right. I will admit it. Your strength has surpassed that of father. You inherited the most purest of his blood. Mule turned to touch the emotions of Mumu. Bloodlines and all that meant nothing to him. Everything except himself was nothing but a piece of meat breathing for his use. If he could exploit someone's weakness to use them, he would. According to his intentions, the plan was to get out of here while the others tried to handle Mumu. It was right then. Snap. Mumu snapped his fingers at Supreme, who was disappearing without even looking. At that moment, the wind pressure that shook his face moved right for him, and the head of Supreme was blown off. Crack. Mule's eyes widened at this. You. Mumu turned back and said with cold eyes. As long as you are alive, you have an ambition for the future. For those who are immortal-like beings and have as many bodies as you want to use, you seriously plan so many things. The moment he heard it, Mule went stiff. How much of their talks did the guy hear? As he was puzzled, Mumu grabbed his neck. Clench. Quack. I do not know why, but I heard what you both talked about. The eyes of Mule shook. It was an unexpected situation. So, wasn't this like playing child games in front of him? It was quite embarrassing. That, to save the life of Supreme. The talks we just had. Did you think I would believe anything you said after calling my mother an object to give birth? At the voice rising in anger from Mumu, Mule gave up the will to fight. It was impossible to do anything against Mumu, so he said, I am your father. Are you trying to go against your filial duty? If so, then you are misunderstanding something here. What? My father is an amazing man called Yip-kyung. And I don't know why I need to be filial to you. You are just die. Kwaku. Mumu, who was about to say something, put strength into his fist. And at that moment, the neck of Mule just tore down. Grabbing the head of Mule, Mumu turned to the other remaining vessel and squeezed the left hand's finger. You waited so long. Pong. As soon as he said it, he flicked his fingers, creating a gust of wind which soon turned into tornadoes and rushed at the last remaining vessel. Chapter 166. Invincible Enemy. Part 5. Cough cough. The lower half of the body was torn, and the vessel, the last one, had a huge hole right in the middle of his chest, leading it to fall down while coughing blood. Squirm. The veins on the body wriggled, and soon, black blood began to spurt out. Swish. Regeneration wasn't happening due to the body being overexerted in the past couple moments, the muscles being adjusted, and the blood being moved in reverse. Losing one's life had to be quite likely now. Was this the end of all that waiting? For the first time in his life he was feeling desperate. He waited for the moment when Supreme and Mule were optimal and made bodies. Adapting the vessels to handle the soul, he made them all his own to get his revenge on the forces of justice and 4 great warriors who had defeated him. But now an unexpected disaster popped up. Moo. Cough. He was born in the womb of the woman of the Hay family, but it wasn't the vessel he wanted. His body might have been the best for all of this, but that was all. He didn't have much expectations for the child. However, the vessel he gave up on had excelled over all and proved himself to be the incarnation of a disaster. Huh. Just how disgusting is this? The vessel that he had given up surpassed him, and had shattered his own ambition. Was this all useless? He was one who went after strength, immortality, and chaos, but in the end he ended up so weak and pitiful. Mumu approached him. Step. The last vessel looked at Mumu and said, cough cough, are you going to end me? To which Mumu sighed as he said, no. I want to see it until the end. Cough, until the end? Yes. Anyway, since I was born because of you, I want to watch until your end. Cough. At Mumu's words, the vessel shook his head. He thought it was funny to see him destroy everything and then act like his son. At this he said, then, do it properly. Right now, your actions, pity, are for yourself, so kill me. You never know. Then, kill me, it is better. No. I will watch. I am someone who does things the way I want to. At Mumu's words, the eyes of his father narrowed. He faintly recalled the words, I follow my heart. Hey Harang. Right. That woman said that to him. To him, all the women were all just wombs to give him kids, but this woman, despite knowing that, said that she loved him. Foolish woman. He regarded her as such, but now he could see it. You are similar to that woman. That woman? The one who gave birth to you, your mother. You are the same till the very end. If you think I am doing this before death out of fear, then you are mistaken. Yes, sure. It was nothing that he didn't expect, but the last vessel continued to mumble, looking at Mumu. Let us make a deal. I made sure to tell you those tricks wouldn't work. I will die soon, and to you, it will do no good. Cough. The breathing of the vessel turned rough. Sooner or later he would stop breathing, and he continued, before death. I want to achieve things, but my blood, you seem content with this, then. I gained comfort from being defeated by my blood. Blood? Spread my name, cough, haha, then. I will speak of your mother, whom you know nothing about. It was his final offer. He gave up too much, and now he had to let go. So as the person who inherited his blood, and not a vessel, he passed everything to Mumu. That way, even if he died here, his existence, through his son, will continue. At least he thought that he could accept it despite hating his father. It was natural that those who wanted power wanted someone strong supporting them from behind. And this child wanted to know more about his mother than anyone else. Don't care. The vessel had given up. He didn't want to listen to what his mother was like. Your mother, you do not want to know. I want to. Then. If I do what you want, a lot of people will be unhappy. What? The vessel's eyes trembled. Why was he saying such a thing? What on earth does this kid with his blood and this much power want, if not to conquer all the lands? That power. You do not want to defeat everything. Yes. I have no interest. I am not interested in the things which can be achieved at any time. At the words of Mumu, he was speechless. Any time? Mumu, who was like a disaster, was saying such nonsense? It was like Mumu was an anomaly made in the world. If Mumu put his mind to it, he could rule the entire Central Plains. That was how much power he held. Huh. The man looked up and sighed. Did the heavens do this on purpose? No, Mumu was born because of him. He couldn't understand it. Even on the verge of death he couldn't. That power, you won't use it when no one can go against you? Do we need to care? Training muscles is enough that anyone to do it. Did this kid not know how strong he was? Or was he messing around at this? There was no more time to be angry. The power, the desire, you lack it, in the end your power will. Even if you have power, it is meaningless if there is no one around you. At those words, the eyes of the man shook. Isn't everything meaningless? I do not know about you, but I prefer being with people more. I am happy when I am surrounded by others. You have precious people around you? You are more pitiful than I thought. The man wasn't sure how to respond to the words of Mumu. Precious people? He was someone who believed that being strong meant to be lonely and enjoy everything alone. However, this guy with so much strength thought that was all useless. He wanted to tell me this? His breathing was starting to fade, and he decided to speak as he looked at the sky. How long can you keep those words? As long as I want to. Find it, that. Shoo. And without finishing his words, his breathing died down. Shoo. Mumu closed their eyes. Find it? He was the last one of the vessels. Did he just mumble something in death? Or did the heart of his father change? Whatever it was, this was the true death of his father. That night. Clench. Something came out from the depths of the ground. It was a hand. It came out of the ground, and then came the face of someone. Pwa. The face from the ground was none other than Hio Musa, a member of the academy. How did he get buried? Hio Musa, who came out, gasped for air, as this was what happened when one used the tortoise breathing technique. He laid face down and gasped for air. And he walked up to the aisle as his eyes widened. Ah! As if a war had broken out, or as if the cave turned to ruins, the deep underground now had a hole in it, and the floor had caved in. And that wasn't all, but there was a horrible smell which came continuously. Clench. Mumu grit his teeth. The faith in him was strong, but out of curiosity he dug out and tried to see the presence around. But then, no, the worst had happened. Mumu. He thought that Mule and Supreme could take him down. But the result? Mumu went somewhere in anger. He could see a tomb there. Overlord Blood Martial God. On the tombstone was written this name, and with that he knelt down. Bang! He slammed his fist. Bang! 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 Mumu slammed the fists to the ground. His two fists were stained in blood, but his wrists were regenerating. You are a strange one. You came and said you want to be a vessel on your own. I like you. For the first time he was acknowledged and accepted as a vessel for the man who made him. But before he could achieve the change, everything went wrong. Quack. He continued to bang his fists and raised his head. Drop tears flowed from Mumu's eyes, which were red in anger. Those tears now had blood too. Crack. Mumu grit his teeth and looked at the tomb in front of him. I will, surely avenge him. I will kill that man with my own hands as a duty as your vessel. Although he died, he had many secrets left behind in the cave. He would take revenge on the enemy with that. Mumu looked at the night sky with tears on his hands. I swear. I will take him down with my own hands. What? Hearing the voice from behind, his face hardened. He gulped as he turned to find Mumu standing there with his eyebrows up. I didn't leave yet.